Hi everybody, it's me Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 4, Housewarming History Lesson. Well, is this the first time we're getting the Season 13 taglines? Did I miss them last week or the week before? I feel like Episode 4 is a little late to be first getting the taglines, but anyway, here we are. And we're starting with Melissa. You'll never see how toxic someone is until you breathe fresher air. Wonder who she could be talking about. Also, side note, who are the people standing behind her? That can't be Gino from last week, the grown man I saw wearing the Virginity Rocks t-shirt. This looks like two little boys. You know what this looks like? This looks like a family, a husband and wife and their two little boys. Antonia is taller than Joe. She and Melissa look like Joe's sister wives. All right, moving on. We've got Dolores. This Jersey girl has the luck of the Irish. And nobody's screwing with my pot of gold. Yeah. Because the only thing we know about Paulie is that he's Irish. I don't even know what kind of a job he has. He's Irish, that's enough. That is how we will define him. And also I would like to point out, no one's gonna screw with her pot of gold, yet Frank still is featured in her background. It's Frank and her kids. Where's your pot of gold? Next we have Danielle. I'd rather be bougie than basic. Isn't saying bougie all the time kind of basic? Margaret, I'm a loyal friend and a lethal enemy. Okay, I mean, that's just more of a factual statement than a tagline, but Rachel, I'm too busy running a business to care about yours. Which I find very interesting because I don't even know what her business is. If it was mentioned on the show, it was just in passing. So for her entire tagline to be about how busy she is with her business, you know, like Vicky Gunvalson, who could never go anywhere with the ladies. I'm working. I don't know what she does. Maybe it's insurance. Side note with Rachel's, first of all, let me just say, she does have the cutest little family, but I'm not gonna lie, at first glance, I thought Jaden was holding a Boston Terrier. I don't know if she got those bows at Bougie Kids, but you've got to ask yourself, is Juliana wearing that bow or is that bow wearing Juliana? Now we have Jennifer's. Payback's a bitch, so start barking. That one makes me laugh. And finally, the grande dame of New Jersey, Teresa. Blood may be thicker than water, but it's harder to clean when it spills. Ew, that's your tagline? That's gross. All year we're gonna hear about you cleaning up blood. Anyway, the bigger story here is why is Louie not in her background? It's just the four girls. They're not divorced already, are they? I mean, Dolores' ex-husband is in her background, and you can't even have your soon-to-be husband and his boys, for that matter. Shouldn't they all be in there? Maybe even Louie's mom and dad and sisters. No, I am just really surprised Louie's not there. And then we see the group shot of the ladies, and I would say the placement is pretty accurate to me. Queen Bee, Teresa, is in the center, and then on either side of her is Melissa and Margaret, and then next to them we have Jennifer and Dolores, and then on the two ends it's Danielle and Rachel. That seems about right, I guess. Although, you guys, Teresa's face looks kind of strange to me in this picture here. I can't figure it out. Like, did she have fillers or like cheek implants or something? There's something going on with her face that looks different to me. Something's off. Also, Melissa looks like she got bit by Bill. Like all the blood has been drained from her body. Okay, this episode starts. It is Rachel's house and it's 1:32 in the morning. It's about an hour after guys' night. John is just stumbling in the door and Rachel wants all the deets. Then we cut to Jackie's house. When Evan comes in, Jackie's still up waiting. I'm trying to look at that TV because I would love to know what Jackie's watching, but I couldn't make out what it was. And same deal. She wants to know how guys' night went. Margaret's house. She's awake. Danielle, okay, so did all the ladies get together or did the show make them all stay up, because I think they're all filming on their phones or something. Either they all decided to do it themselves or they were told to film the guys when they get home. Nate tells Danielle, that was the weakest initiation ever. And Danielle goes, they didn't get you drunk? Nate, I've done worse on a Monday night than what just happened tonight. I mean, I don't know, because John, when he came home, he told Rachel he did like 17 or 19 shots. And that sounds like we're verging on alcohol poisoning to me. Rachel did ask John, who drank the most? And he goes, guilty as charged. Maybe Nate just chose not to have 19 shots. Okay, the next morning, we are at Teresa and Louie's house, and they're moving around patio furniture in their backyard because Teresa is having a housewarming party, and the theme is Love Bubble. They too, of course, sit down and talk about bros night. Teresa's like, I thought it was supposed to be fun. And Louis said, I brought up your brother using social media to say that, he and Melissa were there for your girls. And Teresa's like, babe, I'm so sorry you have to go through that. Your family is so wonderful to me. And then this, my only brother, is like causing all this like circus. He's just causing a circus. Over at Melissa and Joe's new house, it is just still a construction zone at this point. But they find a little place to sit down on some planks of wood and talk about, you guessed it, guys' night. Melissa said, did you have fun? And Joe's like, I tried. Louis brought up the podcast, and that just made me crazy. And Melissa goes, what? He wasn't even around then. The time that we were discussing was when your sister was in jail. We said we helped Joe film so he could put food on the table, which is what Louis objected to. You're saying that you put food on the table for Teresa's daughters. Joe denied that, and he goes, we didn't say food on the table. We didn't say that. That's not what we were saying. Well, that's exactly what Melissa is saying right now. Which, by the way, isn't inaccurate. What they both attest to is that Joe Giudice was not working the entire time Teresa was in jail, which was it 18 months or something? So that's a long time without an income. This idea of this Teresa check-in special where they would film at his house and then call her from prison or something. I don't even remember exactly how it went down, but I remember watching it. This project came up, or the idea of it, I don't know whose idea it was, but they didn't just want to film Joe and the girls. They wanted him some interaction with other housewives, basically. So Joe and Melissa agreed to film with Joe Giudice, even though, not loving the guy at the time. I mean, Joe Gorga blames him for putting his sister in prison in the first place. So with all those feelings they had about Joe Giudice, it would have been very easy to say, I'm not helping this guy out. But they did it for Teresa and they did it for their nieces. And sorry, if it didn't put food on the table, then it helped them pay their bills. Same difference, kind of. That's semantics. I mean, the issue that people have is that Gia said that she only saw them when the cameras were rolling. But also, God, they did come. I don't know. I mean, those families, they see each other a lot. And I think Teresa expects so much from other people. I don't know. When I think about this, Melissa and Joe, both full-time jobs, and they have 3 children of their own. Children that have their own activities, and they have to drive them to cheer, and they have to drive them to, a football game or whatever. There's a lot going on when you've got school-age kids, And they still took some time to go over and visit the girls. As they should, they shouldn't abandon the girls. But I don't know how often an aunt and uncle really, in the course of a normal life, have, I don't know how much time they have to visit. And yes, I get it. It's an extraordinary circumstance that their mother is in jail and they're waiting for their father to then go to jail when the mother comes home. It's a horrible situation that those girls don't deserve. It doesn't make Joe's life less chaotic and busy. And it doesn't mean that his nieces come before his own children that he has to spend time with and take places, and they want to do their activities and stuff. Listen, I don't think anybody is totally right and the other person is totally wrong. There's blame enough to go around on both sides in this family dynamic here. I see the negative in both sides, but I would also ask Teresa, how often do you visit Antonia, Gino, and Joey? How often do you do you have time to just, stop over there a couple times a week and spend time with your niece and nephews? Because what you want from your brother, it's like you're always the needy one and he should come to you and you're the queen. And I just don't think you're aunt of the year to those kids. I could be wrong. Maybe you're there all the time, but I don't think so. I think you go to birthdays and family functions, and I know you love them. I just think what you were expecting out of Joe feels a little bit one-sided. And yeah, he filmed. That was making money for your daughters. Let's say he can spare, 2 afternoons a week to go over there and check in on them. Okay, well, now that they're filming, you want him to come 4 days a week? 2 days they film, and then 2 days he's there without the cameras to prove that he loves them. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe he would have been there with or without the cameras. I mean, I'm sure Melissa and Joe got paid for that special too, but the way they're making this sound is that if they didn't film with him, the special wouldn't happen at all. So they did. I don't know. I don't think he's the worst uncle in the world. I think Teresa expects a lot, and because she expects a lot and keeps saying it over and over again in front of her daughters, I think her daughters now think that he's not been a good uncle. Look, what he was saying about Joe Giudice, he believes that. Should he have said it in front of Gia? I mean, that's her dad. No, he should have contained himself in front of his nieces. But I'm sorry, their dad is a bad guy who was abusive to their mother and caused heartache for Joe's mom and dad. And I don't think they shouldn't love their dad. I'm just saying their dad was a bad guy. And I feel bad for the girls. I think as they become adults, they might understand more where Joe Gorga was coming from. All right, so Teresa and Louis. Louis tells Teresa that Joe was bothered by the fact that Melissa's family wasn't invited to the wedding. And Teresa goes, oh my God, if I didn't put Melissa in my wedding, I'm not close to Melissa. So why would I invite her family? And Louis is like, well, because your father was around his mother-in-law and, they had a relationship. They were very close. And he's probably right about that, Teresa, why didn't my brother invite your family to Antonia's Sweet 16? What? You don't really think those two things are the same, do you? Did you invite Melissa's family to Gia's Sweet 16? How about Gabriella's? And Melania's? No? I mean, it's a birthday party. Even if you guys do up the Sweet 16 like a big to-do. A, it's not a wedding. And B, Louis not even family yet. So you expect, I'm not even sure you guys were engaged at the time, but let's say you were. He's not even your husband. So you expected Joe and Melissa to invite Louis' entire family to their daughter's Sweet 16. I don't think you even expected that. And right away, Louis like, oh, well, I mean, that's not, like, he's probably thinking to himself, no way my parents would have gone to that. But the difference between inviting your boyfriend's family to their daughter's birthday party and you not inviting Joe's wife of 20 years, her family, to your wedding, sorry, that's not the same thing. So in Joe Gorga's confessional, he's like, Teresa and I have been in many fights, but since she met Louis, I just don't feel welcome in her new life. And it hurts. I can't help my emotions, bro. So now Louis is saying to Teresa, I feel bad for him. He's in a lot of pain. Teresa, what did I do to him that's so traumatic? Louis, I think he misses his sister. Why don't you try to make peace? Babe, it's on him, babe. You know what? Teresa, call him right now. Just ask him to come to our party tonight. So she agrees, even though she just wants to be in her love bubble. We get a flashback to when the mozzarella party, when she invited all of the ladies to her housewarming party. So then we cut to the construction zone and Joe's phone rings and we know it's Teresa. He's like, what's up? Hi. What's going on? You tell me. Nothing. It's all good. It's all good. You're in pain, bro. Okay. So then Louis grabs a journal and starts writing down what Teresa should say to Joe. I know this turned off a lot of people. I've seen this scene on social media and people were like, oh my God, that was so cringy. He's so controlling and stuff. Yes, I'm not ruling that out, but also I think Teresa needed the help. I think because, look, it's not like he was trying to give her the strength to cut off ties with her brother. You know what I mean? That would have pissed me off. But he was actually trying to get her and her brother to make peace with each other. So, I don't know. His ulterior motive is to keep her close to her family. That doesn't sound like a cult leader. Exactly. Right? Usually they want to separate you from your family. So I didn't hate it. I think he was trying to get this to progress instead of one of them hanging up on each other. And it didn't bother me as much as it bothered a lot of other people. So he just writes down, do you want to make peace? And she goes, so you want to make peace? And Joe goes, peace. Yeah, peace. Done. Finito. Teresa, okay, well, I'm happy to hear that. Silence. There's just a lot of painful silences between sentences. She says, do you want to talk about anything to make you feel better? And right away, Joe said, no, I just want to move forward. No talking, because talking upsets me. New note from Louis. Teresa, okay, my therapist says it's not good to talk about the past because you're never going to get anywhere. What therapist says it's not? I'm sorry. I've been in therapy many, many years. It's not good to talk about the past? Before I blast her psychoanalyst, I'm just going to assume that Teresa misinterpreted her therapist's words. Perhaps she said, you don't want to get stuck in the past or things like that. I don't think she made a blanket statement that it isn't good to talk about the past because you'll never get anywhere. But Joe loves that the therapist said that because Joe says, great, that's why I just said that, because I don't want to talk about the past. And Teresa's like, I'm good with that. I mean, they're readily going with that advice. Feels a little bit like sweeping something under the rug to me, but all right, now in the construction zone, Melissa does not have a gratitude journal handy. So she is guiding Joe through this conversation with wild hand gestures. Meanwhile, Louis has advanced to actually pointing at the words in the journal for Teresa. I don't know, but it seemed like Teresa was getting a little confused because maybe there were now too many words on the page. That's just a guess. So Teresa reads, are you coming to my housewarming party? Joe, I don't know. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay, talk to you. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you. Okay. Love you. Love you too. And they hang up. Teresa. Louis like, hey, baby steps. Baby steps. That was great. What you did was so hard and I'm proud of you. And in the construction zone, Melissa's like, hey, that was a peace phone call. And Joe's like, yeah, peace. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it ended super awkwardly, but they both came away wanting peace with each other, I guess. Joe didn't commit to going to the love bubble party, but in the immortal words of the reddest man I've ever seen, baby steps, baby steps. Okay, next we are at Dolores's house. We are out by the pool in the back, and she and Frankie are chatting, and then Valerie, Dolores's mother, comes over to visit. Frankie's like, I'll go help her. Valerie, my Frankie. Oh, hello, my Dolores. Dolores, what do you want, Ma? What can I fix it here? Some strawberries? Oh, just a couple grapes, Dolores. So she's been watching her diet, feeling good, doesn't want to have a second heart attack. And Dolores goes, yeah, and you woke up this morning and had what, Ma? Valerie, a piece of cake. Oh, no, Valerie. She does say that it was the only cake she had all week, so that's an improvement. That's big for me. And then they move on to talk about Frank and Polly. Frankie's like, what's going on with Dad and Polly? Dolores is basically like, Polly wants to be the man in my life. He is the man in my life. If something's wrong in her house, Polly wants her to call him to come and fix it, not Frank. I mean, it must be nice to have two men in your life who know how to fix things around the house. Or even one. Sorry, honey. You're good at other things. So basically, Polly wants Dolores to know that he's not going to be another David. He's not going to be perfectly happy to have Frank fully immersed in their lives, and he's not going to become Frank's BFF. That's just not him. And Dolores is prioritizing herself. She says her whole life she's taken care of other people, including Frank, when Frank didn't deserve it because Frank was not a good husband. But she did it for the kids and just keep the peace in the family. And now she's going to start being concerned with herself. And Frank and his feelings will get over it. Next, we are out to dinner with the Aidens. Their son Justin has prom next week, and Justin asked Jennifer to get a party bus for him. So she did. Bill looks like he didn't think that was a great idea. And he would like Jennifer to recognize that she is creating a monster with how she never says no to the children. In her confessional, she said, I know Bill thinks I spoil the kids, but the kids have had a rough year because of what you did. So if my son wants a party bus, I'm going to get him a party bus. Side note, the spoiling of the kids didn't just happen last year. And now I just think that Bill's affair, now that it's out in the open, has become the scapegoat for everything. Look, I personally don't even know if I would have stayed with Bill after the affair. But she did for many years and kept it quiet. It's not like he just had an affair. I think he had an affair like 10 years ago. So for there to be all these like consequences and punishment now, this delayed 10-year thing, I don't know. I'm not saying there's a statute of limitations on punishing your husband for having an affair, but I do think it's strange. You know, she found out about it 10 years ago, confronted him, and just swallowed it, never spoke of it to anyone. That must have been horrible. I don't envy her, and I don't think any woman deserves that. But I do think there's a reasonable expectation of Bill to think that his wife forgave him. And then it became public, whether it was because of Margaret or not, inadvertently at least, I think it probably was. It seems like it being out in the open has not only unburdened Jennifer, but has given her like license to now openly punish him and punish him on behalf of the children, because now this is embarrassing and terrible for the children. And yes, it is, but mostly because you're on a reality show. Being on a reality show is a terrible thing for children. I'm sorry, I can't even imagine any of those kids going to public school while their family's dirty laundry is on TV every Tuesday night. That seems hideous to me. But, you know, here we are. And I think, yeah, so there is something to, like, something feels like slightly unfair about how that is her excuse for everything now. Well, I can do this because you had an affair. Well, yeah, I spoiled the kids because they had to deal with hearing about your affair on TV, you know? So Jennifer tells Bill, I don't want to make the kids sad. And Bill's like, well, you might have to deal with your own issues. Jennifer, you know what's irritating, Bill? How it's so easy to assume it's something I did, when really it's the patterns that you have. Like, your new Ferrari just came in. I I thought you were going to pick up your old one. And then you come home with this, and I'm like, no, this one looks different. Bill, but I'm not fighting you. Jennifer feels like she's constantly having to defend herself because Bill doesn't have her back at all times. He's always trying to be like the peacemaker. And Bill said, oh, so you want me to just say, yeah, she's a bitch. And Jennifer's like, yeah, that'd be great. And so Bill said, okay, just remember, we tell the children that it is always best to diffuse the situation. Yeah, Jennifer doesn't want that for her, though. You can still keep teaching the children that when there's conflict, the best thing to do is to try and diffuse. But that rule does not apply to Jennifer. She wants Bill's blind loyalty. Okay, now we are at lunch with Rachel and Jen Fessler. Rachel says she felt an immediate connection to Jen Fessler, and they just bonded upon first sight. Jen feels the same way. They both have their Long Island Jewish backgrounds. In Jen Fessler's confessional, she said, when I was 31, I did not look like Rachel. Apparently, she was overweight, and she said that she just got sucked in by Rachel's sweetness. So they, of course, start talking about the mozzarella making party, and specifically Jennifer Aiden coming in hot. We get this flashback to Jennifer asking Rachel about her nose job. And Jen Fessler's like, how did you feel about that? And Rachel goes, I wasn't offended. You know, I'm an open book. But Rachel says that Jennifer called her after the party to apologize and say, I didn't mean to offend you by bringing up your nose job, but that she's not been very happy with her own results. Then she segues into talking about Dolores. I don't think she realizes that I'm very friendly with Dolores, and I've known Frank and his girlfriend Britt for like 10 years. So Rachel says that she told her, I don't want any part of this. And Jennifer said, oh, no. I'm just giving you some history. So then Jen Fessler says, okay, so Jennifer called me after the mozzarella party too. She asked her about therapy because I guess Jen Fessler was talking very openly about it. So Jennifer wanted a referral. Then she launched into bad-mouthing Margaret, saying, Margaret's just jealous of me. In Jen Fessler's confessional, she said, I think Jennifer has big balls. She actually thinks I'm going to switch teams. I've been great friends with Margaret for 3 years. It's like huge balls. They're like huge, like not attractive. Like it's getting gross. That's how big her balls are. Oh, God. Anyway, so both of these women are on to Jennifer, and neither is buying what she's selling. I do like the little way that Jennifer tried to connect with each of them, like Rachel through the nose job and Jen Fessler through the therapy at first. Like that's the reason she was calling, I think that's funny. I do wonder if she would have been more successful if she would have badmouthed Margaret to Rachel and Dolores to Jen Fessler. Why go to their friend? Because see, when Rachel said, I don't think she knew how close I was to Dolores, I think she did. I think Jennifer's attempt was to get her to not be close to the person that she already knew she was. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I'm almost positive she knew that Jen Fessler was friends with Margaret. So why she would talk to her about Margaret, I don't know. It makes me think that her plan was, I bet I can get them to turn on their friends. Maybe. I mean, those are some big balls. Next, we have a scene with Margaret and Dolores, and they're in a store shopping for housewarming gifts for the love bubble party. And they start talking about guys' night. Margaret says, Joe Gorga was really upset because Teresa didn't invite Donna Marco to the party. Okay, Donna is Melissa's mother. But quick question, closed captioning, who are Donna and Marco, and why weren't they invited to... Okay, so then the two of them FaceTime Melissa, just to see how Joe's doing. And Melissa's just, my family are good people. And to treat us like shit, I mean, Joe was pissed. So I guess he doesn't want to go to the housewarming party. And Melissa says, but there's a part of me that wants him to be there just to listen to what she has to say, accept it in his heart for what it is and move on. Side note, I'm not Italian, though I'm married to an Italian. He's not like a Jersey bro at all. I have to say, a very different kind of Italian family. So I really don't understand this familial obligation stuff, because every time I'm like reporting about this and saying, how everybody felt, or even at Bros Night when they were like, oh, that's not right. The older sister is supposed to guide the younger brother through life, and that's family. Like, I have a hard time. I just want to say this. I am of the school of thought that the wedding should be about the bride and groom, and they should invite whomever they wish. End of story. I don't subscribe to this. She should be here. He should be there. I don't believe in that. So while I'm reporting all this and I'm thinking, oh, I feel bad for Joe, and Melissa is obviously hurt that her mom and sisters aren't invited. I do feel bad for them, but I also feel like Teresa should be able to have whoever she wants. And it's a second wedding. I mean, I don't know. Be good to each other, but nobody should have to do something they don't really want to do. All right, we're at the Love Bubble party. It is about to happen. Last minute touches are being done. God, that yard looks gorgeous. And we cut to Melissa getting ready. She's got a glam team putting her makeup on. And she's FaceTiming with Joe. And he tells her, he's in the car, and he said, I just texted Teresa. I'm not coming tonight. I don't feel like I want to be there. And he doesn't think that Teresa really wants him there anyway, which is, I guess, the bigger reason why he's not going. He said that makes him he'd be very uncomfortable there, knowing that she doesn't really want him there. I get that, but also she did make the effort to call you that afternoon and ask you to come, which wasn't easy. And she does want peace. So I just feel like you could have gone, like, hung with the bros, had some good food, and it would have been an effort made, and you could have seen your nieces, When we cut back to Teresa's, Melania and Gia come out, and they're all dressed and ready, and she tells them that Zio Joe is not coming. And Gia's like, okay. This scene is kind of tough because, I don't know, reality show or not, this is a real family. Teresa and Joe really are brother and sister, and these are their real children. And regardless of who's to blame or who's being too stubborn, it's just sad where they are right now. This place that this family is in right now feels really sad to me. Well, Melissa hits the nail on the head in her confessional when she says that she's sorry Joe has decided not to come, because it will be the next thing that Teresa holds over his head to make him look like the bad guy. Well, it's already been done, Melissa, because she's talking to her daughters and Louie about how, he's missing all the milestones, like my housewarming party and my 50th birthday and her wedding, which she doesn't know about yet, but yeah. They don't even go to the wedding. So, and there was a scene that I think it was Melania said, if he doesn't come to the wedding, or maybe that's previews for next week. Maybe I shouldn't reveal it. Oh, whatever. She said, if he doesn't come to the wedding, I'm done. I'm done with him. So this is painful. I wish they were actors, or that this was all scripted and that in real life they're closer than ever. All right, so the guests are arriving now. Quick question, how does one get a job as a love bubble dancer? You are inside a giant bubble that is floating across a swimming pool in someone's backyard in New Jersey. And you're inside of it in a little bodysuit with some scarves, just kind of moving around in different positions. And also, how much does that pay? Asking for a friend. No, I'm kidding. There's no way I would want to be a love bubble dancer. First of all, I feel like if it's during the day, it would be very hot inside that plastic. And secondly, I'm not into a job where, like, I'm by myself. I can't talk to anybody. I can't be on my phone. I just have to, like, move around and perform for hours at a time when most everyone there isn't even looking at me. They probably looked at me when they came in and were like, oh, wow, that's a strange thing. Cool. And then they never looked at me again. It's a weird job. It's performance art, but basically with no audience. I don't know. That is right up there on my jobs I would never want, along with the stripper that has to do private parties. That's only slightly worse than being in a love bubble on a swimming pool in someone's backyard. Oh, hey, we finally meet Jeff Fessler. Why wasn't he in the sexy calendar shoot? I mean, he is an older gentleman, but certainly as attractive as some of the other husbands. Oh, who knows? Maybe he was busy or wants his dignity to remain intact. I don't know. I don't know the guy. All right, so Jennifer and Bill arrive, and they're carrying this giant, family tree. That is their housewarming gift to Teresa. It's got everybody's name on there to signify the blending of Teresa and Louis' Brady Bunch family. Margaret goes, oh, what is that, a menorah? Jennifer, oh my God, it's a tree of life. And Teresa goes, a tree, get it? Because I'm tree. Get it? Because it's the tree of life, and I'm tree. You get it? You get it? Because my name is Tree. Get it? Is that why? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that your nickname being Tree is not why she's giving you that tree of life. I could be wrong. So now Margaret finds Jackie and Dolores to start talking smack. It's the tree of life. It's like a fucking menorah. I'm like, when did Teresa convert? Is this her bat mitzvah? After doing a quick 5, she moves on to Jennifer Aiden is so far up Jen Fessler's ass. She called her the other day to talk shit about me. So apparently Jen Fessler told Margaret about the phone call. And now I'm wondering if Rachel told Dolores, because that'll be interesting. So people are asking about Melissa, and Teresa goes, I don't know. I didn't see her. And then she goes, oh, there she is. So Melissa's just walking up to them now. And in Jennifer's confessional, she says that Melissa showing up without Joe is a very big statement. Did I say he was a little bitch girl? I was wrong. He's a drama queen. So Teresa tells Danielle and Rachel that Joe's not coming. And they're like, oh, that's sad, Teresa. Yeah, he hasn't seen the girls in 6 months. And they're both like, oh my God. Teresa, yeah, that's why I told Melissa to bring the kids, because I haven't seen them either. Interesting. So you're both punishing your nieces and nephews because you two can't get along with each other. I mean, she said it herself. What does Teresa think of that? That she hasn't seen them because she hasn't been invited over? That's no excuse. She could call Melissa, or anytime, listen, she and Melissa filmed together this show, right? They were just at the mozzarella party. Teresa could have said, Melissa, I miss the kids. Can I swing by and pick them up and take them someplace for the day? Or can you drop them off at my house for the day and they can hang out in the pool and visit their cousins? Do you know what I mean? She doesn't need a written invitation to go to their house to see her nephews and her niece. Just saying. It goes both ways. In Danielle's confessional, she goes, oh my God, you'd have to be blind, deaf, and mute not to see the connection between what we're going through with our brothers. Oh no, we see it. We called that one last week. Your story is identical to Teresa's. You are the same person. So Paulie is there with Dolores, and he's getting along great, broing out with the bros. Well, he's doing shots with them, which means he's getting along great with them. And Frank is not there because Frank and Brittany had a prior commitment. So I think Paulie is comfortable without Dolores' ex being around. Someone said something about Paulie and Frank not being in the same place at the same time. Dolores is like, it's not a Paulie and Frank situation. Rachel goes, from what I hear, Frank really misses you and the old dynamic. Dolores, sorry. I'm a 52-year-old woman. I've taken care of everybody in my life. And I need to take care of me. People think Frank is the man of my life. He's not. Yes, we know. It's your Irish pot of gold. Paulie Lightyear. Okay, so now Zia Melissa goes over to talk to Gia and Gabriella. And, It's awkward. It's slow. It's like trying to pull teeth to get words out of the girls. Melissa is awkward and nervous. I mean, it's not good. Gabriella says she's not staying for long. She's going to go in the house because she's got to study for a test. And Adriana has dance until 8:30, so she's coming later. And Melissa goes, well, I was going to bring Joey because Antonia's at cheer and Gino's on his 8th grade trip, but he fell asleep. And they're like, oh. Gia goes, well, I miss them. Also, again, I think that Teresa's daughters like this narrative of, your family should come and visit. You're our only family. You should come see us. But how old is Gia? I mean, at least 3 of those girls are driving, I think. Go visit your cousins. If you miss them, go grab them and pick them up. Go grab Antonia, have a girls' day. Take her shopping and, go have lunch at a mall or something. You are old enough now that you actually don't need your parents to bring you two together. Prove to your parents that you guys still love each other and can get along and that they're being foolish. In Gia's confessional, she said, every time Zio Joe and my mom fight, the kids get separated. But you're not little kids anymore. You can drive and probably have your own cars. So make an effort yourself. In Melissa's confessional, she said, it's sad because I truly love the girls deep down inside. And I know that they have hate for us. I know they do. Do they? I don't know if that's true. I don't think they hate. I mean, I think they love you. I think they're hurting. I think everybody's hurting right now. Listen, I think the biggest damage that Joe did in Gia's eyes is talk the way he did about their father, specifically accused their father of killing his parents, causing their life so much turmoil that they died prematurely is what he means. He doesn't mean he didn't have a hit out on them. But he blames their father for his losing his parents. And he said it, and Gia heard him. I don't know what it would take for Gia to forgive him for that. So a lot of work needs to be done there. But I still don't think she hates them. Anyway, after Gia said that she misses the kids, Melissa said, well, we miss you. And both of them are like, we miss you too. And very awkwardly, Melissa goes, okay, well, I'm going to go get a drink then. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to go. And they just kind of wander off in opposite directions. Yeah, it was sad. So now Louis and Teresa get up on a bar top or something to make a speech to everybody there. I hope the speech is about why his face is as pink as his shirt, because that's a story that interests me. Alas, it is not. It is about how grateful they are for everybody there, for supporting them. And Teresa goes, yeah, you guys are our chosen family. Everyone here is really special to us. And we love you. And we wouldn't want anybody here but you guys. Yeah. And then was it Bill? It was off like camera, but you could hear somebody yelled, we miss you, Joe. It sounded like Bill. We miss you, Joe. No, they showed Bill right after, but I think it's because the camera wasn't on him when he yelled it out. But, it was like a Hallmark card saccharine-y kind of a speech. And I didn't think it was like so horrible until Teresa said, and I wouldn't want anybody here but you guys. Now, normally I would say Teresa isn't smart enough to be that diabolical, but she didn't need to add that. It was bad enough that she said, you're my chosen family, but she definitely didn't need to add that little last bit about I wouldn't want anyone else here but you guys, because that can't really be referring to anyone other than her brother. And that was just unnecessarily mean-spirited, especially for someone who's in a love bubble. There's a lot of hate in that bubble. You might want to pop it and start over. Melissa looks a little bit like she might cry. Margaret can see this look on her face, and right away she says, Melissa, that was a dick thing to say. And Melissa goes, it's okay. In a way that, it's not okay. And, Margaret's just like, what the was that for? Yeah, I don't know why Teresa had to say that. Margaret seemed to be more hung up on the chosen family part of it, which, again, wasn't great. Although that I could almost see, her daughters were there too. I don't think she meant to exclude her daughters who were not chosen family. I think she just said it like, all my friends are just as close to me, as family. It wasn't until she said that part about I wouldn't want anyone else here that I felt that was very exclusionary, and unnecessary. By the way, in Margaret's confessional, her imitation of Teresa, not too shabby.
I didn't mean anything about it, honey. I didn't mean to say that.
Melissa's saying that she's sad that Joe didn't come, like, if only for the girls. And then she excuses herself and goes to the bathroom, and she's really crying. She, too, is upset about the chosen family comment. And you can hear her in the bathroom, and she's like, what about those of us who have always been there for her? Melissa says that when she was in jail, she used to come over and drive the girls to dance, and I guess thinks that Teresa doesn't seem to remember any of that. Okay, now for some comic relief, the sprinklers turn on, and everyone who's standing in the grass is getting soaking wet, while Louis runs to find out where the shutoff is. Now, Melissa is back, and she and Jackie are chatting, and she confesses to Jackie that she met with Danielle, and she did tell her about hamper shorts. And Jackie just smiles, and she goes, I'm not even mad about it. Because I'll tell you, she's a terrible dresser. And she wore those hamper shorts 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if this is the real Jackie, or if now that Jackie is just a friend of, she's just freer to be a judgy bitch. But I kind of think this Jackie's hilarious. While they're talking, they're probably like 2 feet away from this other group of ladies, including Danielle. And Danielle can hear everything they're saying. And not one to back down from confrontation, Danielle has to go over there now and insert herself into the conversation. And she says, is this appropriate, what I'm wearing today? Or does it look like I dragged it out of a dirty hamper? Jackie, no. Right now, you don't look like you're going to a pool party. But I never looked you up and down. In Danielle's confessional, she goes, oh, it was... I mean, she might have pulled some shit doing it. I'm not kidding. So Danielle says to Jackie, first of all, I got a vibe. So I didn't invite you to my home for my party. Jackie, could you get your hands out of my face? Thanks. Danielle, first of all, I'm from Staten Island. You would know if my hands were in your face. This is just how I talk. Jackie, is that a threat? Danielle, oh, you'd know if I was threatening you. I'm just talking to you. Jackie, well, if the words I'm sorry can't leave your fucking mouth, then fuck you. I'm gonna go get a drink. And off she goes. The new Jackie. Sassy Jackie. Jackie doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm not even on her side, and I love her. What does Danielle have to apologize for? Next, we see Danielle talking to Teresa, and Louis Jr. comes up, and he goes, Teresa, I made this for you. And it was a Nutella pizza with, like, strawberries on it, and the word love in, like, frosting or something. I mean, it was cute, but he's not 6. Not to be super mean, but like you're like an older boy. Teresa's like, oh, that's so cute. This is my stepson, Louis Jr. I love calling him my stepson. I love saying that. Now Jackie, God love her, grabs Jennifer. Jennifer, bitch, get over here. Do a shot with me. So they're like, cheers, and they're about to do a shot. Margaret, Jackie, no. She bitched about you and said you were a snob. And Jennifer's like, no. She did. But also, Jackie talks about Jennifer too. Whatever. I think it works for these two. They're frenemies. Let them be. So anyway, the new and improved Jackie goes, saying I'm a snob isn't that bad. I am a little snobby. I love it. And Margaret had nowhere to go. Like, Margaret is on a mission to stir up trouble primarily for Jennifer. And that didn't work, so Margaret goes, okay, fine. But I am offended that she called Jen Fessler to complain about me. And Jennifer goes, I called Jen Fessler to ask her to recommend a marriage counselor. And that shut both of them up. And Jennifer's like, P.S. On that call, Jen Fessler was not defending Margaret at all. And Margaret goes, you said I was jealous of you. Jennifer, no, not jealous. Threatened. I don't think that everything last year was just about you thinking that I was a hypocrite. So they called Jen Fessler over to, witness this now and, say what really happened. Margaret wants to know how to move forward if Jennifer is still holding grudges. Now, like, all the ladies have come over too, and they're all gathered around. And Jennifer said, not holding grudges, but I'm allowed to state the facts of the matter. Rachel, Jennifer, you did the same thing to me with Dolores. You started talking shit. Dolores, wait, you were talking about me to her? Rachel, yes. You said you were giving me context. Jennifer, no. I said to you, this is not for you to get involved. I'm just telling you the history. Did I not? Rachel, is this a history lesson? Jennifer, yes. Rachel, no, it's not. Jennifer, yes, it is, you fucking idiot. Oh my God, the group is getting like attention from all the other guests, as per usual. Jackie gets Jennifer to calm down. She's like, no, I want to hear what you say, but like, you'll get your point across better if you're calm. And Jennifer goes, okay, I'm calm. I called her up, meaning Rachel, to say, I'm sorry I talked about your nose job. People were bad-mouthing me about my terrible nose job, and I felt bad about your terrible nose job. Yeah. Margaret goes, what did she just say? When Jennifer's on, Jennifer's good. And I like this duo with Jackie, like this new Jackie and Jennifer. They're fun. So Dolores is like, I don't like that you said that. I'm offended. Jennifer, offended by what, Dolores? Dolores, I don't call people and talk about you and Bill. And Jennifer goes, but I didn't call to talk about you. Teresa says to Rachel, I know her, and she would never tell you to take sides. And Rachel goes, she wasn't telling me to take sides. Jennifer, thank you. She's finally saying something that's true. And Rachel goes, however, I said it's not something I want to be part of. Dolores, good for you, Rachel. Jennifer, what do you want, a medal? Can we get her a medal, please? I don't know who she was looking for. Maybe the bubble dancer. So Rachel goes up to Teresa and takes her hands and she says, I'm going to get my husband and get out of here. Teresa, why? Why you leaving? Rachel, I feel like now is a good time for me. Side note, is that not the best line ever for leaving a party early? You don't have to lie. You don't have to be mean and say I'm bored or whatever. I feel like now is a good time for me to go. Love it. I mean, the host has no choice but to be like, okay, thanks for coming. Right? So Rachel walks across the backyard to go find John. And Jennifer goes, keep it moving. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Rachel, who's now halfway across the yard, yells, there's no door, asshole. And that is a wrap on episode 4. Thanks for being here, guys. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. Both of those things matter a lot in my algorithm. YouTube will just, put my videos up where other people can see them. The more interaction I have with likes or comments or subscribers matters in the world of YouTube. So please consider doing that. And also go ahead and click on that little bell icon if you would like to be notified every time I post something new. As always, I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you click on more in the link below this video, it will take you to a list of items I have for Amazon. Click on any one of those links that will take you into Amazon and you can purchase whatever you want. doesn't have to be the item I have listed. And I will get a small credit for all qualifying purchases. Thanks to all of you guys who are sending me tips through Super Thanks. I appreciate them very much, and I appreciate you very much. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.